Hi guys, Deorr Kunz case. A 2-year-old boy went missing at a campground in Idaho some years ago. 2 years old with hazel eyes and blonde hair. They went camping about 2 hours from where they lived, and the father, Deorr, used to go when he was younger, as a child. So they go to the campground, and the father and mother decide to go off and do something, and another guy that was with him, a friend, decides to go somewhere else. I don't know if he was fishing. So the grandpa, this is probably his father, Deorr's father, his father, was taking care of the little 2-year-old boy. So they come back. I don't know how long they were gone, but when they came back, the father says, "Hey, Grumps, where's my son?" And his response was, "Uh, what? Like, what? Like, don't you know he's been gone?" Well, anyway, they go looking for him this way, that way. There's a little river, lots of trees, little lakes, little riverbeds for where you can fish, that kind of thing. It's the middle of summer, it's July the 10th. So the father decides he has to go make a phone call and has to drive further out to get a signal for his phone. So he calls 911. They sent out a search party. They were searching, you know, all around for so many hours, and then they called it off. Well, in the meanwhile, they got onto the news channel, I guess, and pleaded for help. Well, as they were pleading for help, an investigator was watching it, and I guess he was an ex-investigator, but he said he would offer his help. I think his name was Philip somebody. Well, anyway, the mother and father were being interviewed on a TV channel, and the investigator was doing the talking. And the mother's head was down all the time. She wasn't really talking. And the father said a few words and stuff, but it kind of sounded baloney. Here's another one, gets on TV and begs for his child to come back. There's hope, there's hope. But he didn't look very sincere, as you know how people are. When you see that they're not truthful, they're not truthful. Well, anyway, as time goes by, summer goes, spring comes, winter, and then spring, and then they decide, and still there's been a few sightings of him, um, but it wasn't him. And years gone by, and they close the campground and search it for a couple of weeks, to search it, because they do believe that that little boy is in there somewhere. Now, the investigator that was working for them decided to quit, and he states the facts that they're not forthcoming and they're hiding something. They're not telling the whole truth, and he is taking himself off the case. And I think that he made a press conference to that effect. So he's off the case because he doesn't believe a word they're saying. So they search the park and find nothing, but the police are beginning to suspect the mother and father of foul play. So as they have got no investigator now, another guy, he's an investigator, and he comes onto the case. And he's investigating it. And then he too wants to take himself off the case because he states the same thing that the first investigator had problems with. The facts. The mother and father, their words, or they're not come forth. It's just the way they're acting. I mean, I don't know, maybe they're going about their life like they never had a son. And the investigator said that they think that the little boy was never even at the campground with them. You know, the father, grandpa obviously was his father. Well, what do you think? Do you think he's gonna lie for him? Could be. He's gonna lie for his son. He came to the campground and makes up some big story that this little kid was apparently dressed in oversized oversized Wellington boots or something like that, and hardly anything else on. So how is this little boy that's 2 years old, just gonna up and disappear, and the grandfather is supposed to be watching him, and suddenly, he disappears in Wellington boots? Well, this kid's not gonna get very far in Wellington boots, is he? So that sounds a bit fishy to me. Well, as the story goes along, they're being questioned, still being questioned, and the police think they've got something to do with it. Well, this investigator that wants to take himself off the case, the second investigator, says the mother says she knows where the boy is. She knows where he is. But something happened and he took himself off the case. And then she gets a lawyer or something and more or less says she never said that. Maybe she was having a meltdown. He was talking to her and she let it slip. But I don't know the exact words that was used to the investigator, whatever she said. Well, anyway, as the story goes along, today is November, the 7th, and this child has never been found. This little boy's mother and father depart from each other. They weren't married, but they separated and went their own ways. The father got a trucking job or something like that and traveled and got out of Idaho. And this little boy's mother met somebody else and got married and gone on with their life. What's that about? Was this little boy in their way? So, what do you think of this crime story? I mean, the little boy hasn't been found yet. There's been some sightings, but this little boy is much older now. And his picture's on the video. So if anybody's got any info or recognize this little boy, to contact the police on the matter. But as I think it's been a long time, you know, this boy is probably not alive. They've killed him. And even though the guy that was in the car, in one of the vehicles, which they had separate vehicles, said that he saw the little boy in the back seat. Well, they said he was in the back seat, in the car seat. But did he see him? Did the parents just say, "Oh yeah, he's in the back seat," and he was covered up a little bit? You know, did he? He never really said he even see him out playing, you know, before they went anywhere. I mean, this story is a little bit crazy. Well, anyway, guys, I'd like your comments and let's discuss this video. Thank you.